I just need to hear your voice, he said quietly, and I didn't know it would be the last time I heard him speak. I was studying for exams when my phone buzzed. It was William, my ex. We hadn't spoken in months, not since he moved 2 states away to figure himself out. I just needed to hear your voice. I tried to joke, to keep things light, but the silence that followed was heavy. What's going on? I asked. Nothing, he said, too fast, too bright. Just talk to me for a minute, so I did. I talked about school, about my cat terrorizing my houseplants, about nothing and everything. But while I spoke, something in me tightened. He wasn't reacting. He wasn't even there. He just needed noise, my voice, like a lifeline he wasn't planning on holding on to for long, and that scared me more than anything. When the call ended, the quiet in my apartment felt unnatural, and a cold warning creeped up my spine. Instead, I set the phone face down and tried, more like lied, to convince myself I was overthinking it. Turns out I wasn't. The next morning, I texted him, "You okay?" No reply. By afternoon, I called. It went straight to voicemail. By the next day, I was pacing my apartment, replaying every word of our last call. What if he was drunk? What if he'd done something stupid? What if I messaged one of his friends, Caleb, who said William hadn't shown up for work all week? My chest tightened. I called his mother, who hadn't heard from him either. That's when panic really settled in. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through our old messages, looking for a clue I might have missed, something that would tell me what to do. The next morning, I drove 5 hours to his town. I told myself I just wanted to check in, to make sure he was okay. But deep down, I was terrified of what I might find. His apartment building was quiet when I got there. I knocked on his door, but there was no answer. I asked the landlord to check on him. The man frowned but agreed. When the door opened, the smell of stale air and something faintly chemical hit us. I froze in the hallway while the landlord called the police. Everything blurred after that. There were sirens and questions I couldn't answer. Then a voice telling me to sit down and someone saying he's gone. All I could think about was his voice on the line saying he just needed to hear my voice, and I had said so little. 2 days later, the police called. They found a note on his nightstand that was addressed to me. It wasn't a goodbye letter. It wasn't even a confession of pain. It was an apology for disappearing, for leaving me confused, for not being able to fix what he didn't understand about himself. He wrote that hearing my voice made him feel human again, just for a little while. And then came the part that shattered me. He hadn't planned to end his life that night. He'd taken too much of something to help him sleep, and by the time he realized it, it was too late, and he knew an ambulance wouldn't make it in time in the crowded city. His last call wasn't a warning. It was instinct reaching for the only person who ever made him feel safe. Everything I'd been torturing myself over, what I didn't say, what I missed, shifted in that moment. It wasn't about me not saying the right thing. It was about him running out of time. The days after the funeral passed in fragments. People spoke in soft voices, offered casseroles and condolences I couldn't taste or hear. I stayed quiet, nodding when spoken to, lost somewhere between guilt and grief. Then a few weeks later, I found a picture of us from our last vacation together, both of us sunburnt and grinning, and a sense of peace hit me. "I just need to hear your voice," he'd said that night. I finally understood. He wasn't asking for words or comfort. He just wanted to feel close to something real one last time.